Welcome back. Attempts by hackers to gain access into the Twitter account of the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has failed. The Vice President's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Mr. Alaolu Akonde, made this disclosure today through his Twitter handle. He says, and I quote, "Yesterday, there were failed external attempts to gain unauthorized access to the Vice President's Twitter account. Since we have been in contact with Twitter, securing the account and forestalling a recurrence, the VP will continue to actively communicate with our citizens." End of quote. He did not say where the attempt was made or who could be behind it. Motorists plying the border axis of the Enugu-Onitsha expressway, that's between Anambra and Enugu State, are lamenting the deplorable state of the road. They say the bad portions of the road cause untold hardship and gridlock on commuters, and they want the federal government to come to their aid.
For over 9 years, road users have had to deal with ugly experiences plying the Enugu-Onitsha expressway due to its dilapidated condition. The worst stretch being the Okuzu junction in Anambra State. It's a different story now, as the federal government has commenced reconstruction of the road. But some portions remain problematic. The long queue of vehicles at the border point between Anambra and Enugu states is not a new sight anymore. The bad spot at this axis is the cause of the gridlock. Martin Odor is a truck driver plying this route and has spent 2 days to move his vehicle that got stuck at the bad portion of the road.
We need to appeal to government to assist us, because this is the only benefit that we poor masses need to receive from the government. I have slept here for 2 days because of the condition of the road. Because that day there was about 3 trucks that break down here. So I was dodging the low bed that carries caterpillar. That is the reason why my motor fell into this pit.
A lawmaker in the House of Representatives, Mr. Val Anyika, shares his own experience as he calls for an urgent intervention for the road users.
A few days ago, I was coming back from Abuja via Enugu Airport. Unfortunately, I stayed at this very spot for 4 hours with the support of Speaker Enugu State and that of Anambra State to put this palliative measure as a temporary relief for road users, hoping that the government in the long run will have to take a permanent measure.
Nigerians should help us. The Minister of Transport should help. Minister of Work should help. We don't have roads in the southeast. We don't have roads. Our federal roads are not anything to write home about. We are blocked. We cannot move. Please, Presidency should pay attention.
As some hired persons try to salvage the situation for the time being, major intervention is now needed to finally end the pain experienced by travelers on this road.
With the switch from 4G to 5G communication network already taking place in some parts of the country, researchers and industry players have been debating the pros and cons of the latest mobile communication technology. While researchers are calling on the World Health Organization to classify mobile communications as a Category 1 cancer-causing substance, industry players hold a different opinion. In this next report, our technology correspondent Victor Matthias examines the gains and dangers of 5G network.
The tech world has over the years seen an improvement in applications and codes created for use in a world that has more than ever accepted the reality brought by this phenomenon. 5G, a new generation of mobile radio communications where millimeter wave spectrum is harnessed for faster data speed, comes under the spotlight as researchers and industry players disagree on its effect on human lives. A WHO research in 2011 classified mobile communication in Category 2B of cancer-causing substances, a claim corroborated by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services in 2018. But industry players appear to see things differently.
Between 5G, 4G, 3G, we haven't changed the power levels. Yeah, maybe we changed the spectrum or the bands at which we are transmitting, but we haven't changed the power levels. So see it as, think about your microwave or something. I'm trying to see how paint analogy, once you increase the power, then of course you are transmitting at a higher frequency, and that becomes problematic. But if we haven't changed the power levels, we just change the frequencies, I don't see how that health effect will come to play.
But what changes does the 5G bring compared to what was obtainable before it?
Averagely, we've had about 100 megabytes per second with 4G. In Africa, is actually a bit low, but globally, it's about 100. So even with 4G, we've not really achieved its full potential. 5G is promising 1.4 gigabytes of internet upload and download speed, and you can understand how ridiculously fast that can be. What it means is that if you're downloading a 1 gigabyte movie, you will download it in 1 second, and that's absolutely unheard of.
5G is not just about improved speeds and bigger data handling capabilities, but it also helps you to drive more unique use cases, right? So take a look at enterprise. It's something that would help the enterprise segment a lot. It's something that will help applications like IoT as well to get to mass market adoption, etc.
With the Internet of Things, smart homes and even cities becoming in vogue, other issues are being thrown up. For example, how secure can one operate within this space?
The fact that my car is smart means that my car owners have access to my entire itinerary. They know when I wake up and get into the car, when I leave the car, everywhere my car goes. Does that mean they can share the data with a third party? Can they keep that data for how long? Can they take the data without my permission? That is what we should be talking about, because that's where the whole issue of security comes into play.
Bodies like the 3GPP, I've put together different standards to drive, security around 5G. The GSM operators, the GSM vendors, device manufacturers, etc., are aligning to these different security frameworks to make sure it does work.
However, many still wonder why 5G is seen as a game changer.
The interesting thing, however, is 5G is going to be able to shift the entire global economy into a very different trajectory because of the Internet of Things.
Though Nigeria cannot boast of fully implementing the 4G networks at the moment, it may one day, and also move to the 5G afterwards. Hopefully before then, there will be a definitive agreement on how much danger the 5G poses. Victor Matthias, Channels Television News.
Survivors of human trafficking in Delta State are pledging their support to collaborate with the state government in its fight against human trafficking and irregular migration. They want the perpetrators to stop or prepare to face the music. The State Task Force on Human Trafficking and Illegal Migration, alongside several civil society organizations in the state, hit the streets to enlighten the people on the dangers of being trafficked.
Delta State is ranked among 10 states in the country with persons involved in human trafficking, an ugly trend the state government is determined to fight through the inauguration of the State Task Force on Human Trafficking and Illegal Migration. Middle-aged Ikechukwu Nkwo from Ika South local government area is one of such youths who are lucky to be back in the country after being held captive in Libya for a long time.
The experience was really bad, too bad. Being in Libya, the journey from Agadez, Niger, Agadez to Libya, we passed to Ruku, we passed to Kuru, many places. Sometimes you see some vehicle out of 10 hilos that will be carrying, each hilos will be carrying 32. Sometimes 2 with some assault and other accident. Maybe 4 will die, 10 will die. Out of 10 hilos that will leave from Agadez to Libya, you see it's only 6 that will survive it.
Speaking during the rally, members of the task force leave a hint on the plans of the state government to establish laws that will help reduce the trend, proposing stiffer punishment for offenders.
His Excellency has mandated that there should be a bill that should bring the people to book. There's been no strict bill against human trafficking in Delta State. His Excellency, Senator Dr. Okowa has mandated we do that. So even from the legal angle, we are doing that. Apart from the advocacy in every language, apart from, getting youths to join us, students from schools, youth corpers, it's going to be, it's going to touch every local government of Delta State.
We are calling to our people to be more vigilant
they should be more vigilant. They should be circumspect when it comes to traveling abroad. It's not what people say. We have over 20,000 women, Edo and Delta, in slave camps in Mali. So it's cause for concern, serious cause for concern. We are calling on parents, calling on religious organizations, calling on governments. Please let us rise up and fight this cause.
This 5-kilometer walk is one of the many steps that will help enlighten the public on the dangers this practice poses for the future generation. The state government has also promised to reintegrate survivors into the society, urging them and other youths to get involved in the various youth empowerment programs in the state.
More money has been pumped into the pension fund. Kayode has the numbers on Business News.
Well, that's right, Melinda, and you're welcome to Business News. 21 billion naira. Well, that's how much pension contributors in the country contributed into the pension fund assets in the second quarter of this year. Well, this is according to the National Pension Commission. PENCOM's latest monthly report on summary of pension fund assets and retirement saving account registration shows that the inflow moved total pension fund assets from 9.12 trillion naira in April to 9.33 trillion naira in June 2019. The report further indicates that total RSA fund rose from 6.94 trillion in April to 7.12 trillion in June, representing about 180 billion naira margin increase. PENCOM's Acting Director General, Mrs. Aisha Dahir Umar, attributes the accumulation in pension assets and other successes achieved so far to its contributors. The Institute of Directors Nigeria has a new president and chairman of council. He is Mr. Chris Okunowo, and he becomes the 16th president of the institute. In his welcome speech, Mr. Okunowo promised to forge a stronger link between IOD and non-IOD members who form a large number of SMEs. The investiture took place in Lagos.
It's the largest gathering of corporate leaders under the auspices of Institute of Directors. And wondering what they may be celebrating in a relaxed environment as this? Well, they've all come to witness and honor the swearing in of a new president. Investiture, they call it.
Will you be governed by the Institute's governance?
A giant he is in the marketplace, an accomplished businessman. Chief Chris Okunowo takes his oath of office as the 16th president and chairman governing council, Institute of Directors.
And will you work diligently and faithfully for the advancement and betterment of the Institute and its members?
I will.
The issuance of office transfers from the Nigerian Board to Chief Chris Okunowo.
The eminent members of our governing council elected me as the chairman and president of the institute. I consider the election as a rare privilege and honor.
He already has his job cut out for him.
The IOD during my tenure will work to strengthen public sector, private sector policy interactions in the broader national interest. If this is achieved, it will reduce the tendency of policy imposition from the top, thereby creating an enabling environment where policy making and implementation will be participatory with the involvement of all stakeholders.
Highlight of the day's event is the award bestowed on past leaders of the institution. IOD has over 4,000 members serving as directors in various callings and capacity and is recognized as a model and premier professional organization that advocates for the enthronement of best corporate governance practice in the private and public sector of the country. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
Well, that's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Kayode Okikiolu. The news at 10 continues with Melinda.
Many thanks, Coyote. Still ahead on the news at 10, the Tigers make a convincing start to their title defense at the 2019 FIBA AfroBasket Women's Championship with a remarkable victory over Tunisia. That's in sports news. Join us again.